Good morning and welcome back to the Am I Successful Yet podcast. You are on day 3 of the 40 series, and today we are going to be talking about sometimes things just run their course, and that's okay. Now, is this relationships? Is this work? Is this friendships? Is this, I don't know, a dream, a business idea? It's pretty much all of those things because I think that I have had at least one of those in pretty much every category that I've just mentioned, where sometimes things just run their course. And being okay with that and not just pushing something because you've done it for so long and that's all you know, that's not the answer. So, well, that's what I found as well. Anyway, I don't find that the answer. So I'll give you my first example, right? My first example, and this is probably going to go live before this situation happens, but I'm okay with that because anyone that's, anyway, whatever, no one will listen to this anyway. So the first one is just because I went to law school doesn't mean I need to be a lawyer forever. Now, I have attempted to say goodbye to being a lawyer at least 3 times in the last 15 and a half years since I got admitted, but then years before that when I was working in legal businesses. Interesting, right? And it used to be one of the things was I think originally I didn't think I was smart enough to be in the law. And then it was kind of like, well, okay, now I'm in and I'm obviously smart enough to be here because I got a job and I did the things. Then it was like, I don't really fit in here. And now I think the most recent version of my exit, which will, I think, be the most permanent exit, which is coming up likely next week, is that I just have more to give. And the impact is bigger than what I can achieve working a 9 to 5 in a lowland job. And think that this is a really difficult realization to get your head around because we are kind of, what's the word? Indoctrinated? Sure, let's go with that. Institutionalized in a way that allows us or makes us believe that this is kind of the way, right? So you if you went to uni and you did the thing, then obviously you need to be a lawyer forever. And that is what you're going to be. And you are going to love it or hate it, but you still got to do the thing because you did the qualifications and then hurry up and just be perfect at it and be the best and all of those things, right? No, I think that I think that career life is changing in the sense that the people that used to tell us these things of sort of have a career, get your qualification, have your career, buy your one house, pay your mortgage off by the time you're 80, have kids, maybe go on a couple of holidays here and there and then die. And that realization of life or that version of life is just not success anymore in my mind. And I reckon that the idea of this has changed significantly. And I think the reason that has changed is because people like me are getting into management roles and we are climbing higher and higher up the corporate ladder or up the ladder of, for want of a better word, in someone else's business. And we're kind of starting to realize that what the fuck? Like life can be better than this. And so you've got this overwhelming number now of millennial business owners, of millennial coaches, of people going out, and it's not because they can't do the thing. They're just getting to a point where they realize that there's a different world out there, right? And sometimes the career dream has just run its natural course and you can go and do something different and that's okay. And I'm not saying that for some people, career life and corporate life is going to be them. And that's totally cool. And you do you, boo. I just can't work in the system anymore. It's killing my vibe. But I believe that we have the freedom to choose and we can do that. And so we can have this kind of, we can continue to, what I don't want people to do in trying to push things past their natural course is kind of kill that natural ambition that they have. We want to preserve that. We want sustainable ambition. We want this sustainability to continue to be ambitious, even in situations where, you're having a day that you don't love or something like this. And so I think that's really important to identify is that, is your ambition going to be able to be sustained on what you're doing right now? And, or is it that you might need a pivot, right? So that's the first one, career ones. So yes, I believe that career, a job, a business can run its natural course. My business also ran its natural course, as many of you know that have probably been around for a while, or if you're hearing this for the first time, I owned a law firm for 3 years, but I ended that, and it took me 12 months to end that because, again, I thought that I had to be the thing that I thought I wanted. But then I realized I was trying to live someone else's definition of success, and that was no longer working for me. And I didn't think it was something that I could do or wanted to do anymore. So again, it ran its natural course. The other thing is that sometimes relationships just run their natural course. And what I mean by that is that, we've heard this thing of people come for a season, a reason, or just a season or a reason, right, into your life. And I strongly believe that. And what I have found as well is that you start to value different things in different people. And for me personally, what I found is that when I stopped putting people up on pedestals, and this is just one of my traits that I don't love about me, and me kind of like coming to this realization over the last probably 6 or 7 years. I don't love that I used to do this, but I definitely did put people up on pedestals. And I was like, well, you're smarter than me. I want to be like you. I want to be successful like you, whatever, whatever, right? And I would kind of, you know, make them out to be my heroes as opposed to like my friends. And those two of the people that I'm thinking of in my head right now are probably the two people that I've been let down by the most in my adult life. And I'm no longer in a relationship of any kind with those two people. They were both very close friends. And it's interesting, right? But I think that I had to have a relationship with these people so that I could learn to not put people on pedestals. Because the reason is the reality is, sorry, that you are just as equal to anyone else. Okay, little break there. I'm not really sure what happened, but okay. So what was I saying? So relationships can also run their natural course. I also believe that my first marriage ran its natural course. The reality was that we served the version of us that we were when we got together when we were quite young, and that kind of ran out. The more immature version of me and the more immature version of him just clearly didn't match when we started to grow, or one of us started to grow and the other didn't, and that made it really difficult. So relationships also run their course. I also think that just like your big dreams and ideas can run their course. I mean, I'm not saying to I'm not saying that you shouldn't try. 100% try to commit to the big dreams and commit to being better and commit to whatever you kind of want, you know, your life to look like. Oh my God. But what I think is important is that you are realistic in those goals, in those dreams, in the way in which you want your life to look. Because I think it's really important to understand or to plan to I mean, running into uncertainty with rose-colored glasses is kind of my thing. That's kind of, how I roll. But I also believe that, what drives success or what creates success in these versions of us that are willing to run into uncertainty. And you need a level of that. You need a level of that, willingness to run into uncertainty. But you also need a level of, hold on, I need to plan this. I need to see kind of what it looks like. And so what does run its course is the, sparkly, shiny things. And what I would highly recommend, and certainly something that I've learned, is that trying to figure out exactly what the dream means to you. What Digging deeper, right? Why do you want to do the thing? Why do you want to create a business? Why do you want to speak on stage? Why do you want to, not be in the job that you are? Why do you want to be in a different relationship? All of those things, digging deeper and understanding the why behind the big dream is probably more important, and having the plan in place that aligns to the why is going to drive you harder than kind of just running into the abyss with no plan. And so if you don't plan, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't understand that things are going to run their natural course, and you might give up on the idea. And can I just say that giving up on your own idea or giving up on your own goal, or again, letting it run its natural course, isn't because you are not successful, isn't because you are not worthy, isn't because you are not good at something. The reality is you have made the decision to allow something to run its natural course. On one of the guest episodes that may or may not be released by the time this episode is released, I was speaking to this amazing human. And she has gone from working in the legal industry to then and now she is an artist. And I find her one of the most fascinating humans, partly because she has this innate ability to just let things run their natural course. When you start to feel it in your body, you can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your mind, you know, your gut is saying, this is done, like we're done now. That's okay. And having that realization and being okay with letting things run their natural course, that is so empowering compared to just trying to keep pushing shit uphill just quietly before you're willing to make a change. And I know that in Erica Kramer's work, she often talks about the only reason anyone, oh wow, I'm just driving around Brisbane, everybody, and there is this amazing view that I just found. Holy heck, that's gorgeous. Beautiful church, best real estate in the world, obviously, churches. Sorry, running its natural course. So you can feel things running that natural course in your body. And I strongly encourage you to listen to that because the reality is no one else gets to decide what's right for you. Again, someone else that I spoke to recently, one of the guests, actually that episode is live, Amanda. Amanda talks about how she went from being an accountant in a pretty, steady job, getting paid pretty decently, to then being a coach for people whose loved ones are suffering through addiction. I mean, it wasn't even a thing that existed yet when she started doing this. And so people were like, what? You do what now? And I think being okay with being like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And this is who I am now. Just being unapologetic about that, like getting out of your own way, getting over yourself, which is the Erica Kramer thing, right? The when you get sick of yourself, then it's okay to do the next thing. And being cool with that is one of the most beautiful things we can do as human beings. So that is the lesson for today. Sometimes things just run their natural course. And sometimes we just have to fucking let things go. And that's cool. What serves you now might not serve you in 5 years, might not serve you in 10 years, maybe doesn't serve you anymore because you've had the same thing happen to you for a very long time. And I strongly encourage you to listen to that. Please listen to that. Listen to your gut. There is research that shows that your gut has neurons in it. So your gut is pretty much just another version, another brain. And so listen to the gut brain. Listen to it. It knows things. Listen to your actual brain. Listen to how you're feeling. Listen to your body. All of these things are telling you what to do and you're not listening. So listen. Sometimes things just run their natural course and your body will probably know, your mind will probably know, your gut will probably know before you do. So just listen. That is the episode for today. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Actually, this is a amazing project that I'm loving doing. It's this 40 lessons, 40 days from my 40 years. And today I just want to say that sometimes things run their natural course. And if somebody needs to hear this, please send it to them because sometimes it's a nicer way to just, have a crazy lady ranting into the phone telling you to do things than actually having to tell your friends that maybe they need to get out of that relationship, or maybe they just need to finally quit that job, or maybe they just need to get out of their own fucking way, right? What this episode is a loving kind of nudge in a different direction. Permission to let things go, permission to do things differently, permission to show up, to be a different human, permission to just fucking do what you want because you can, because you have the freedom to choose, because you want your ambition to be sustainable. You want to be the best version of yourself at all times. You want to be the most amazing version of yourself at all times. And sometimes that requires a bit of a pivot, a bit of a shift. So that is today's episode. Again, thank you for being here. That is day 3 of the 40 series. If you want to follow along, please hit subscribe and you'll get the notifications to say that this is happening. Comment, like, share on all of the platforms. I really appreciate you being here. Have a beautiful day and I will see you on the next episode.